Hello, Loop friends. Welcome to Live Loopers. I'm Alex. Live Loopers is a YouTube channel where we talk about things related to live looping and loop music and live loopers, the people who make the loop music. And lately, it's been very focused around Loopy Pro, the software that just unleashes your creativity and lets you explore the sound verse and just do all kinds of cool things. Recently, here on Live Loopers, I have finished up a mission of developing my perfect template that would just let me make all the cool music that I want to make. And I was making the music, just minding my own business, happy to be done making templates. And then what happens with Loopy Pro is then just more ideas just pop right in your brain and just jump on in there. And then what happened after that was that there's a new thing, and it's called the All-in-1 Template. It's the Learning Lab. It's not a template that I intend to use as my template. It's just I had some ideas and I just had to see what would happen with those ideas, and so it's just a idea, and I think you'll like it. So yeah, as I was saying, this isn't like a better template or any kind of template that is supposed to be fully featured and complete. It is just a one pager. I've always wanted to have a one pager that I could use, and this is a two pager. It's got 2 pages, but it's kind of like a one pager. It's I mostly never had to leave this one page. I can do mostly everything that I want to do from this one page, which I always wanted to do that. But it also just has all of these. I am a keyboard music maker on a touchscreen. I like touchscreen keyboards and touchscreen pads, and I like the idea of touchscreen, but obviously other MIDI controllers have different ways of adding expressivity to your music, and the touchscreens have kind of lagged behind. They haven't always had the same amount of able to add the pitch bends and the different things that different MIDI controllers might have, expression pedals and stuff like that. So it's always been how do we get that onto the touchscreen to be able to use it on the touchscreens? And then I had the idea. I've been exploring XY pads lately, and as soon as I started exploring XY pads, then the ideas just blossomed right inside of my brain, which was not painful at all, I must say. It's weird that it wasn't, but it wasn't. And then here is what I came up with, and I'm gonna stop holding it at the camera, and I'm just gonna switch to some screen captures because that's easier. I would like to direct your attention to up here in the upper left corner. There are 4 XY grids. One says BD, bass drum, one says snare, one says hat, one says bup, which, what is a bup? I don't know. We'll don't even worry about it. But bass drum and snare, I'd like to show you what can happen when you put those on an XY grid, because I've done lots and lots of on-screen, touchscreen drum pads before, where you just press a button and boom, it will make a drum sound. I've had that since the beginning, but I have never hooked it up to an XY grid. And what I have now by hooking it up to an XY grid is I have it so that the further left to right you go, you will be panning those drums. So you can play your bass drum way over to the left speaker or way over to the right speaker. Not super exciting, but kind of cool. But when you go up and down the vertical axes of the XY grid, then you're controlling the volume, and that is really cool. That is so awesome. I have been having such a fun time with that. If you have a MIDI controller, it has probably it has all kinds of touch sensitivity for how hard you press the pad, and then sometimes the different apps that you have on your iPad will let you utilize the different levels of how hard you touch the pad and everything, so you can, make it louder and softer, and then you have way more expressive drum playing. I got that on touchscreen now. If you want to play like your regular hard snare hits, you just touch it at the top. And if you want to make your little, very light, delicate ghost notes in between, you just do a tap somewhere towards the middle or bottom or something. So if you practice, you can play, with all kinds of expressivity. And yeah, that's new. That's a new thing for me, and I love that. Let me hook up a beat right quick for us. Now we'll be directing our attention to the upper right portion of the screen where we have input effects. I have always been struggling with what to do with input effects, how to get the input effects working right. XY Grids has been a great solution. I just take Koala effects and plug in my favorite different effects and pair them together, like which two effects I think would work great together in an XY grid. And so I have come up with reverb and delay in one XY grid, the cutter and ring modulator in another XY grid, the talk box and dub in an XY grid, and the bit crusher and dirt in another XY grid. And then in the final grid, there's filter and compressor. The filter is weird because the filter like zeroes out in the middle instead of at the bottom. So just be mindful of that, because when you press this reset button, it puts the filter back to the middle, and it puts everything else, it zeroes it out, because that's just how the filter works. And so now we're almost to the good part. I just got one more thing I had to show you as a little bit of setup, but direct our attention to the lower right hand corner. There are, as I usually have, there are 4 different buttons where you can press to activate different instruments. I mean, I usually have way more than 4, but where screen space is limited, we're going with 4. One is labeled pads, one is labeled leads, one is labeled bass, and one is labeled effects, which is not like the input effects. It's like just sounds that are effects, like a siren and just effects. These instruments all come from Bismarck 16, which I've advocated in recent videos because it's like $8 and you get all kinds of wide diversity of sounds. You a huge sound palette with just using one app that you had to get. So that's why I chose that. And with recent versions of Loopy Pro, there is this dial that lets you select presets. So now you can, for each different instrument voice, there are sub choices within that. So there's just a huge sound palette, and it doesn't take a lot of screen space to provide that huge sound palette. So each of these different colors will have a volume slider for that instrument, a on-off button. The pad is turned on and the other 3 are turned off right now, and we'll have the dial so that you can dial in the different presets. So now the good part. Now we get to make the music. Yay! So the idea that I had was, what if we take like a note input method, in this case a piano roll, and we hook the different, what if we make the keys out of individual XY grids themselves? So what if each key was an XY grid, and you had the ability to express, like you could press the key and then like slide the volume around. It's such a cool idea. I was running into some problems. One, there was like a lock screen thing that I couldn't get rid of for a while, but the latest version of Loopy Pro has allowed you to toggle that on and off, so that's no longer a problem as long as you have the latest version of Loopy Pro. But also, I just got kind of caught in a moment of, or just a position of indecision of like, is the XY grid actually better, or would just a slider with only one axis be better? Couldn't even make my mind. There's kind of merits to both. So for the All-in-1 Learning Lab Template, I've just included each, and you can modify it all you want. You could like take out the one that you like less and replace it with the one that you like more, or you can do whatever you want. It's yours now. And I'll play a little bass line as best I can. Here we go. Still getting used to doing it, but oh man, it's so much better than it used to was, and having a lot of fun playing, and everything sounds better once you put the bass in. But now we are going to tag over to our leads and show you the top, what happens when you add the horizontal axis, and then what that's going to control is the filtering, so that now I can control volume and filtering and have a whole lot of expressiveness while I play. Okay, so isn't that tons of fun? I think it is. Now, the last thing before we get out of here is just want to tell you, you can take that level of expressivity and then combine it with the input effects while you're playing, and so you can add more effects to even just that expressing the filter and the volume, and you could just knock yourself out. Let's turn on all the instruments. Let's turn on the bass and the pads. Let's just go crazy. Okay, so my point is, Loopy Pro lets you do all kinds of things, and just when you think you are reaching the frontiers of your exploration, you realize that you could just keep going. You can open up more doors, go further. The creativity is just kind of boundless here in Loopy Pro. This is like the area that I am super interested in exploring. How do you get expressivity out of touchscreens? And I feel like, wow. I feel like, wow. A Tasty Pixel, Loopy Pro, just like unlocked everything and just let me go crazy. And I'm so happy to be here. And yeah, if you want to get the all-in-one template to play around with for yourself, it is available now on liveloopers.com under the goodies tab, under templates, and have fun with it. If you have any questions about it, you leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, if you like things in general. If you're happy with your life, just leave a like on this video. That'll let me know. And also, if you want to join the almost 1,900 people in the Live Loopers YouTube family here, just tap the subscribe thing and that'll happen for you. And also, loop on. Yeah, loop on. Wow, 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 wow.